back to another episode of Chatterbox with me, Mel Biggs. This is the podcast where every month I sit down to chat with a folk musician from across Europe and the world. And this month my guest is the phenomenal Filippo Gambetta. He's from Italy. He's my first Italian guest tutor and guest on the podcast. Yes, tutor, because there is a tutorial component to every podcast episode. If you hadn't picked up on that already, do check out my Patreon for that. This month's conversation with Filippo, I was desperate to delve into a lot more of his knowledge about the diatonic accordion traditions on Madagascar. Would you believe? When I first heard about it a few years ago now, I couldn't believe it, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's so different to anything that you would normally associate with the diatonic accordion, and we get to really deep dive on all of that, and there's loads more in the extended podcast because it just wouldn't all fit into this public one either. So without further ado, I cannot wait to introduce you to Filippo Gambetta. Filippo, I am so pleased to finally have my first Italian on the podcast. You are setting the standard here, which is something to be proud of. Whereabouts are you at the moment? I know you travel around a lot. Are you at home?
Yes.
Yeah.
At first, buongiorno a tutti, and grazie mille. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yes, I am here in my town of Genova, in my apartment here in Genova, northern Italy, and this is my first podcast of this kind, so I hope that you will have fun and everything will be all right.
Yeah, it will. We'll just relax and have a chat. I mean, there's so much actually I want to talk to you about just from my connection with Genova. I've been there once. I came over... Goodness me, maybe 2009, 2010, I mean, I think it was a bit later, with the Morris group that I'm in. I'm a Morris dancer, Morris musician.
Yes.
Maybe you remember me talking about that, because we met at Halsway Manor, we should say that up front.
Yes.
And there was the Carnival in Rocca Grimalda, which is north of you, right?
Yes.
But have you been there? Are you familiar with the Rocca Grimalda Carnival?
Of course. Yeah. I have been the teacher. I have been the accordion teacher in Rocca Grimalda to the young musician. Well, now they are they are guys of 25, 30 years old. But when they were kids, they were starting the diatonic accordion under my tuition. It was a very nice experience because basically I was asked to take alive, let's say, a repertoire of music, to take alive this repertoire of music by teaching it to the new generations, and so it's in a way is a contribution to make a carnival still alive with still diatonic accordion being played there. And it's very nice carnival in a very nice area in the hills.
In the Alps, isn't it? Can you, just because there's a lot of people that listen to this that might not know, can you talk us through what the Carnival in Rocca Grimalda is about? I know there's a story and there's characters and it's like a 3-day festival, isn't it, in a way, and there's processions and things, but in your own words, what is the Carnival?
There are, let's say that there are multiple interpretations that can be given, and also a carnival must be seen as a event that also during history changes its role in a way in the community. The big symbology is about the arrival of the springtime, etc. This is a very natural meaning. In terms of a social meaning of this carnival, we can see that they do a carnival with a fake wedding. In this fake wedding, so a fake couple that is having promenades in the village on the day of carnival and the days before, with some specific characters following them and dancing with them.
And they wear masks, don't they?
And they have masks.
Yeah.
Someone says that for instance, it is a way to make fun of the Ius Prime Noctis, which was a medieval habit, which the Duke or the
he used to sleep with the new bride.
He used to sleep.
Is that right?
Exactly.
He would have the first night of every bride with
exactly.
him.
So this is said that the community, for making fun of this, probably in the day that this was gone, the population decided to make fun of that through the carnival. The carnival has also elements in the costumes, for instance, of something that someone connect with the Moresque tradition, so Mediterranean, North African. It's like is a longer history than just the little episode that we mentioned of the Ius Prime Noctis. Another thing. During the fascism, so the carnival it has always been with a man with the clothing of a woman, making the woman in the couple of the, okay? But the fascism said that it was no good to have a man with the clothing and the makeup of a woman. So that from that moment, a man and a woman were in the carnival, and afterwards, also in the 60s and 70s, instead of going back, what has been decided during fascism for a total other purpose and reason was adopted from now on, with the aim of having man and woman in the carnival.
Yeah.
Sorry for...
No, it's a lot to break down and describe. I mean, to look at it visually, it's a group of character actors that have central roles, and then just a lot of other people that follow it, and including the musicians, which is a band of... I mean, I must have seen some of your former students when I was out there, but some really little boys, and then their grandfathers, fathers, and we processed around for about 2 hours, I think, around the whole of the Rocca Grimalda.
Yeah, yes.
It's a long day, and you stop at various points, and there's food available, and then you move on, and it's just constant music, constant dancing, and it really... I don't know, very vibrant atmosphere, really. Confetti, people come out onto the balconies and watch from above. I mean, we obviously... It's very similar to a lot of things we have here in England and things I've seen in Breton, and, it's its own thing, but... The connections with the Morisque is interesting, because that is one of the theories of where Morris dancing in England has come from as well. And the characters, the spring, the seasons, that's all wound into traditional dance here in England as well, as it is everywhere. But there are links there too. So and I have forgot to say that in that area it is very important, the wine production. So in what you were mentioning is called in Italian questua. The questua is when you go from a farm to another farm to ask products for the group of people of the carnival, and for having a good luck. So give us salami, give us wine. So basically the tradition is about that. And the music that are played are three tunes, which are Giga, Lakera and Calisun. But it has been then added a curenta di Butei. I guess more recently, and curenta is normally more referred to the music in the Alps area next to the French border. Anyway, yes, this is nice dance music. It is. I remember they ran some balls or just dances in the evening. We were doing Tarantella and Circassian Circle, and it was just such an interesting way to see the instrument being used. That everyone's on Castagnari, of course, but it was just very rapid kind of movement of the bellows, and just some really interesting rhythms that I hadn't heard at that point in my journey through, playing the melodeon, essentially playing the diatonic accordion. So it's nice to see the different styles and how it has a play in the carnival as well. Yeah. You were telling me when we were setting up this meeting that you're spending a lot of your time at the moment converting and tinkering, working with old honers and old accordions. Is that something you've always done, or is there a particular reason behind all of that? What's kind of really brought that on for you?
Oh, well, let's say that it has been always intriguing for me to understand how my instrument works and to go to discover this mystery of these reeds that are inside of a box, and you don't really interact with them directly. You always have this intermediate button and valves between and wood, and so to actually one day a friend of mine who's in a family of accordion makers and tuners, etc., he really encouraged me. I was having my official accordion, my main accordion with me, with suddenly something that was wrong, some notes that really needed to be adjusted. We were in the middle of nowhere. He gave me a how you say
screwdriver?
No, the scratch.
Oh yeah, okay, like a little scraper, yeah.
Scraper. He gave me one as a present. He showed me and he encouraged me, like, okay, you have to start to take care of your instrument. Don't necessarily be so aware, so worried about putting your hands, but start to check it out. So that was my starting point, and to understand that a reed accordingly to how it is open in your instrument, how it is light, it can change the attack, it can change the color of a sound. Really, really, really interesting for me. And now to answer your question, have I really been interested to do this activity in the last years? Not so much, just it was really a little part of my thing, just something in case of need, something to do in case of need. But at a point I decided to go to Madagascar. I decided to travel to Madagascar, where there is a huge tradition of the Diatonic accordion, immense tradition of Diatonic accordion, and I decided to bring with me an accordion. This accordion was a whole honor that I did. I decided to, before going there, to tune it all, dry tuning. Basically, it was a second-hand instrument with something not working, because you get the second-hand instrument, you never know.
Yeah.
So it was something to fix it a bit. I brought this instrument there, and once there, I discovered that the instrument which is used there is a very particular instrument, which have particular characteristics, features, tuning. It started for me a very personal work in progress in this discovery, and the idea has been then to go back to Madagascar and to travel at that point with an instrument that was prepared by myself according to the characteristics of the instrument in Madagascar. This has been my starting point to really start to work on the instruments, like from scratch, then to take all the reeds out and etc., to do the whole work. And in parallel, I started to do it also to respond to a personal curiosity. How do I do this for Madagascar accordion? I record and I make video to the musician that I meet, so I have a reference to my ear. And starting from my ear, okay, here instead of a 6th-degree minor chord, they have a fundamental pulling with a major chord on the fundamental. And so I do this starting from the videos that I make. And
I remember when you came to Halsey, you just got back. This was 2024. You came across, is that right? When we met, 23.
It was 2023.
Was it 23? Was it 23? Wow, okay. There's a vlog about that, by the way. Everyone listening, go to my YouTube channel. You'll be able to see how this chap completely melted my brain by the end of the week, because it was a lot. It was very intense. But I remember you shared with us lots of videos because you just got back off a trip and you were buzzing. You had so much knowledge to share. And I was aware of there being a culture of diatonic accordion on Madagascar because of my friend Remco Sietsema, who's the Dutch player, and when I heard you play, I was like, you sound so much like Remco, and it was just this connection, I think, with the Madagascan music and the groove and lots of Latin American sort of rhythms that Remco has gone on to do, and there was just this real connection. And through talking with him, it was the first awareness I ever had of there being diatonic accordions, essentially really old knackered honers, aren't they? They keep them going with razor blades, and they make them work out of anything.
This is the
and it's
most
fascinating how they've landed. I mean, probably through colonialism. That's the only way I can think that the instrument landed there, and then it's been adopted into their culture.
I have. I am gonna show to you an instrument. This is probably the moment in which you can edit the video afterwards and cut, because I have to go in another room and take an instrument.
Okay.
But I think it's very interesting in the topic that we are talking about.
Yeah.
I go back.
All right. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so for audio listeners, you're going to have to go to YouTube to see this, but it's some sort of didgeridoo is what it looks like, but I know it's not. Is it stringed? It's a stringed instrument.
Okay, this is the
a little bit out of tune.
Yes, it's the nation. Yeah. Also, a string was. Okay, give me 1 second. Then we can go again in the video, but in the podcast.
So you tune it by moving the bridges. That's so. What have we got here? What is this?
Okay, this is the national instrument of Madagascar, and it's called valia. This valia is a bamboo stick which has strings all around it, and it's really old and traditional instrument which was played before the accordion. Now I want to show to you this instrument because there is a really direct connection with the diatonic accordion, even if we cannot imagine this, but basically this instrument explains why in Madagascar the diatonic accordion has become so popular. This instrument is organized with a dominant in the center normally, and then we have a scale which is organized with one note in one part and one note in another part. Okay. And now this instrument is out of tune and one string break. But
no.
Let's see that. The instrument is basically organized, allows easily articulations based on thirds, on the thirds. Yum, dum, dum,
just
dum,
by
dum,
moving the hand round is how
exactly,
you,
exactly. Couple of fingers, a third, another third, another third. So also in terms of psychology of the musician, I would say, like training and training and training with this concept of one note here, one note there, one note here, one note there, on a diatonic scale, is basically what we find in our instrument, the diatonic accordion. This was my sensation when I was traveling to Madagascar months ago. I arrived there, I meet a man playing this valia in the village, a very good player who also sells his instruments. So every day I was meeting him and say hello and sometimes playing music together. And one day, without me asking him anything, he he told me, if you give me the diatonic accordion, I think that I would be able, je serais capable de le jouer. I would be able to play it because it's very similar to my instrument, which is, il est organisé en tiers, is organized in thirds. So
I mean, where would you land in the world where anyone would just go, yeah, I understand that? Because most people initially are like, this is mad, this doesn't make sense, until you work out how to make it make sense. So that's, wow, fascinating.
Yeah, I see really a big connection between this instrument and the music played with the diatonic accordion.
So, because again, you explained a bit about this, and just off camera before we started, you were saying that it is difficult to summarise what the music is and what it means because of language barriers, and I know that it's deeply spiritual. It's got a religious context, hasn't it? The way that the instrument is used on the island. I remember you explaining that that the instrument is played a lot by people who have that connection with the spiritual world. Shaman, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but they're kind of people that have that connection to the other world, and the music and the instrument is used as a connection. It's a meditative, I mean, the way that they play, it's very rapid, repetitive sort of ostinato sequences, isn't it? Just kind of very rapid. Can you expand on how is the instrument, and maybe the instrument you just showed us, how are they related to this context of music on the island?
With pleasure, I will try to explain.
I know you said it's hard, but it's so fascinating.
Okay, let's start from how my experience took place there. In part, it was what was helping me. It was YouTube and Facebook. So I actually arrived in Madagascar. Before going to Madagascar with this purpose of discovering the accordion tradition there, I was Googling on YouTube like ritual diatonic accordion Madagascar, accordion diatonique Madagascar. I was wandering around to check if something was there, and I found a person called Brada L'Homme Noir, who's someone that actually records the possession ritual, part of the possession ritual music performance, not putting a video on YouTube, because normally we are not allowed to take videos during the ceremony. Chumba, the name is Chumba, ritual, the ritual of possession. The possession rituality itself. Well, it is very hard for me to explain it, and I sometimes I ask myself if I really understood it properly or not, or have I understood something, because you have to think that French language is a colonial language that people there speak not so fluently and currently. They speak Malagasy language normally. I am an Italian person speaking French as a second language, I would say. For me, when you are in the ritual of possession and you ask to people, what is happening now? Can you describe me why this person is shaking? Now we have to be quiet. We can play. Can I play with you? Sometimes the answer is very like, okay, now the spirit of Mampiari is in this person. Boom. This is what you have as an information, and you have to read books and to do part of the work on your own. Otherwise, move to Madagascar and stay longer there, of course, which would be also interesting. There are different kind of spirits, many spirits, and these spirits are also connected to a sort of kingdom. I will tell you now what happened in Madagascar.
And if you want to find out what happened in Madagascar, you're going to have to sign up to my Patreon to get the extended episode. This month there's about 15 minutes extra content, and you'll get to hear a lot more about Filippo's experience and what he's witnessed on Madagascar during these spiritual possession rituals. but you'll also be able to unlock every other extended episode from all of my other guests. And if you so wish, you can sign up to a tier of membership that unlocks all of my Melinar tutorials, which I have taught a lot of them, and I also, every guest on the podcast has provided a tutorial so you can learn from them as well. And I do sheet music transcriptions of things that are on my YouTube channel. It's just a really good community. We've got a WhatsApp group, we do a Sharing Sunday event. It's a really supportive place to be if you're learning a folk music instrument. So check it out. The link's down in the description, in the show notes. And now back to the interview.
We have to consider that it's very hard to be able to play in Madagascar if you bring, for instance, your accordion. You need to know the keys that are mostly used. I see that in some areas, like in far up north, in Antsiranana, they use mostly EA. EA, Mila. So in other place where is used the GC accordion. But anyway, you have to have the luck to have the good instrument in a good territory, because maybe if you have an F accordion and you are in a place where it's not automatic that someone can borrow to you an instrument. Why? Because instruments are very rare. There are not so many instruments. People give today you take this one, tomorrow I will take it, and they use what they have. They are a poor country. The people that regulate the reeds and prepare the instrument there is only one, so that I understood there are not many people doing that.
And in terms of materials, I remember you showing us they use like old blades from hacksaws and things, don't they, where the teeth has kind of gone from the saw blade, but they'll use that to create reed tongues and pieces of plastic to create valves and things. It's just really resourceful using what they have.
They have some reeds that you don't understand how still they can work, for sure. In fact, in this travel, I was carrying with me some extra reeds, and I was giving in present to people. Oh, monsieur, vous avez le pièce. You have the piece. Oh, come to my house, and I have broken 2 reeds. Okay, I go to the house and I help the person. This was happening in the last travel, and it was very nice to be helpful to this community of musicians. By the way, I like to tell that if someone is interested in the idea of making an old Hohner accordion going to Madagascar, I am totally interested and available, and I support this cause. So if someone one would like to donate an old Hohner that doesn't use anymore, my goal is to go back and bring other instruments, and I have contacts of musicians, because sometimes if you go to Madagascar, okay, I bring an accordion, I will give it to musician there. I think that is better to have connection and to understand who are good musicians and the communities, so that the accordion goes in the right place. So
we can leave your contact details below, perhaps, and anyone listening that's got a knackered old Hohner that's just sat around. I've got one up here, but it's not mine. But maybe we can get it to you in Italy.
It's possible to speak about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really nice way, because so many people just have them sat around not doing anything, and actually they'd be very valuable and very useful to people on the island.
Oh, let me show.
I was going to say, some of the videos that you showed us, I was honestly surprised that these instruments could still be played, because they just looked so worn out. The casework had holes in and really worn out.
Yeah.
Is this another one that you've done?
No, this is a normal GC that I recently prepared. hard for me to give. This is a little cell that I have been studying with my teacher, Amana Santos Jauti, Tsimiheti, living in Diego Suarez in northern Madagascar. He was giving to me lessons, and I asked him, okay, could you please teach me something today of your tradition? And he was starting to play like 10 minutes. it was okay, stop. It was very hard. Also in this, we have to think that it's not like automatic that you go to Madagascar and you will find someone who's able to teach in the sense of concept that we have of teaching and learning. Because their concept is, my father has been playing since I was a kid, the accordion, and I have been listening to this music. So I took the instrument from my father, who took it from his father. Very often is a family tradition. I have been asking, and they answered me, yes, my grandfather was a diatonic accordion player. So they really don't learn in the sense of one lesson studying one topic. It's a totally different.
Isn't it? Being around it forever and just absorbing it, and
it's probably very similar to what could happen in India if you go to my friend playing the violin, going to study Karnataka music in India. The teacher was not like, okay, today we do 1 hour, we study the part of a raga. No, you stay in my home, you help me, discepolo. You stay and you live with me, we stay period together and we play music. And
it's such a holistic way. Music is life, music is part of culture. It's just, it's in there, like eating, like drinking and sleeping. It's just part of life, and I think it's just such a way of life, and it just teaches you so much more then about life. Not just music. It's like the whole interconnection of everybody and people. And
this that I showed to you is like if the valia is the national instrument historically before the accordion arrives, this is the national percussion instrument in Madagascar.
So what we've got here, just to describe it, we have a tin can with some holes in on a stick.
Exactly. It is
full
like
of beads?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And
nice.
The name is Fare. And Fare, you will be listening if the possession ritual, it will take like 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever. You will have basically 12 hours. Kind of non-stop. Very, 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 very present. So the music there is a music in 12/8. Tempo. I want to take time for understanding better this music. I want to go back there. I want to explore other areas and check out also the different styles of the diatonic accordion that in the island are. For instance, in southern Madagascar, the music is not anymore 12/8 based, but is let's say a 2/4 with rapid quartine. Is more this kind of vibe, and this music is called tsapiki. The tsapiki for some southern Madagascar is normally played by 2 accordions, one that is giving kind of a rhythmic pattern, and the other that is playing melody and more melodic variations. One day I will go there. You have to take time and big time if you go there, and really you cannot say I want to go from here to there tomorrow. Maybe there will not be the bus. Maybe unfortunately, because of a very bad condition of streets and unfortunately hurricanes and cyclones that affect the island, actually in some periods of the year some areas are off limits, and Madagascar now is facing a big crisis, a political. There was a coup d'etat, there was a golpe basically. There was a changement of government when I was there months ago. So I was also kind of scared when I was there because I didn't understand in the first days if it was safe to stay. And anyway, I think Diatonic. I'm sorry.
I was going to say it's a huge topic, isn't it? And yeah, the fact that it's influenced you so much. I think just because, and I'm so sorry to do this because I want to ask more. I want you to talk more, but I want to talk about how this has been a lifelong passion. It seems you said you first went there when you were 21. So what are we talking about? 15, 20 years ago, something like that. Am I in the right ballpark there?
Yeah. Yes.
Not to be rude. Hopefully, I'm not. But you have also made a lot of other music. You know, we've talked a lot about Madagascar. That's a real passion of yours, but you know, as an Italian Western player, I mean, you've played with some of the greatest musicians, you know, in the world, and written some of your own fantastic music. But would you say that there's always been that connection with the Madagascan music? I mean, what other influences have you taken from other cultures, or you know, from your own place in the world, from Italy? Like we should say as well, this wonderful book with album Otto Baffi, which is a play on words. As you can see, he's playing his moustache there, if you are looking on the YouTube video. Baffi being moustache, is that correct?
Baffi is moustache. Yeah. Is like a game of... The game of words is actually Otto Bassi, which in Italian is the 8th bass, and Otto Baffi, 8 moustache.
So for the geeks in the audience that are listening who are diatonic accordion players, this is all 8-bass, 208-bass stuff. And when you came to Halsey, that is the course that you provided us with. We were just doing absolutely insane things, but with 208-bass, a very limited system. And this album has all been recorded on that system. So, but listening to the music in this album, we can hear the influences that you've just described, but there's a lot more going on. You know, there's some traditional dances and things from musette and you know, different worlds, balfolk and things. So talk to us, take a bit of time here to explain your journey as a player and as a composer.
Let's start by saying that in my region of Liguria, except for the carnival that we mentioned before, Carnevale di Rocca Grimalda, which is a very rare situation in my area in which the diatonic accordion is played, but apart of that, and considering that I come from a town, the town of Genova, the diatonic accordion is totally not existing as an instrument in the tradition. Compared to what? Compared to Sardinia, where like there are hundreds and maybe thousands, I don't know, really many players of traditional music from Sardinia. Calabria has a lot of players, center of Italy, etc., etc., etc. The area near Turin, le valli Occitan, Italian valleys. So these are areas with a huge tradition of the diatonic accordion. In Genova, this tradition is not so strong. And I would like to add the fact that the first time that I hear the diatonic accordion and I was interested to play that, it was not at all connected to proper traditional music and folk music. It was the album, I was 13 years old probably, and it was the album by Riccardo Tesi and Patrick Vaillant, Veranda, which is for me it was a very inspiring album, also for the sonorities into that. So you can find the tuba bass with a vibraphone, with trumpet, together with mandolin and the diatonic accordion, and this soundscape was very interesting for me. The sound of the instrument was appealing, but traditional music has arrived as a tool, as an ingredient, but not the main strong thing. Like, I am from Sardinia, everybody play that, I want to play that as well, and then we will play all together in the big party for the, I don't know, celebration of the Madonna or something. No, that was not my case.
How did you first start playing in that instance? Like, if it wasn't something that was common in your area?
There was a friend of mine having a bunch of instruments in his house, and I basically say to him, "Hey, I see that you have a diatonic accordion. That's the instrument that I would like to try. Okay, take it. Go home and practice." And so that was that was the thing, and I was helping myself through books and some material that like Trad magazine and the stuff available in that time. And I was also actually taking a few lessons with Riccardo Tesi at that time. Then I have been studying clarinet, blah blah blah, many different things in my life, in different periods of life. I've been a lot into Irish music in a period, so I was only playing the Irish system for a long period of time, maybe because I felt that music was intriguing technically for me, in the phrasing and in the memorization, and of course in the social element that you go and all over the world you will find a musician playing a nice Irish session, and it was in a moment of life it was very strong for me. Just to focus on your question, the elements that interest me are very wide, very open, and I like to I like very much the international perspective on the diatonic accordion. This idea that this chameleon instrument was going into Mexico, into Colombia, Brazil. I'm very curious, and to make alive my passion for the diatonic accordion, which sometimes is effectively a little bit limited instrument. My way to keep alive my curiosity is to try to investigate how the diatonic accordion has spread in the world. So
and then therefore the tunings and the systems, that those different specifics that get changed as cultures evolve and want different things. That seems to be your area of expertise. Or
let's say that as a job, as a musician, diatonic accordion player, big part of my work is playing some bal folks events and compose music addressed to the bal, which is a part of the thing that I like to do, not the only one, but is some of the things that I like to do. And in the Otto Baffi, let's say that 80% of the repertoire, even more, is connected to bal folk. Just quickly, I want to finish by this answer by saying that I do think that in Europe we sometimes tend to be too much. I include geographically UK in Europe, of course.
Thank you, we appreciate that. We miss you.
Greenland is geographically not, probably.
Politically, yes.
Corsica geographically is Italy. Anyway, I think that we are very Europe-centered in the diatonic accordion culture, in the culture of exchanging tunes, doing workshops, and creating events and camps, and we have a huge tendency to, like, okay, this year we invite the Bretons, next year the Basque, let's check the Irish, let's check some Italian tarantella, and let's see in Belgium what happens. And it's very nice. In Europe we tend to discover the music of like in beautiful project like Ethno. So everything fine, everything cool, but I think that in the present world in which we live, we have this big gift of playing an instrument that is really spread in many different cultures, again, Colombia, Mexico, Madagascar, etc. At least I speak for me. For my perspective, at a point of my life, it was like necessary, like it was a big call to listen, to try to reproduce, to try to find a teacher, to try to connect to the diatonic accordion outside of Europe. And if in Europe we will tend to invite more and more musicians from different cultures, South America or Central America, whatever, and we will have the tendency to invite them in our European camps more and more. Maybe they cannot do the other way around. In Madagascar, they would not be able because it would cost too much. They would not be able technically to do it. But we could create more bridges through our instrument, especially for creative musician. As I would refer to myself, I would call myself, I don't know, composer or creative accordion player, to have this opportunity to meet musicians from other totally faraway cultures. That would be a nice tool for composing new music, probably more interesting way. Who knows?
It takes you out of yourself. You discover things that you didn't know existed because, you don't know necessarily everything that's happening on the other side of the world in Brazil with the diatonic accordion. So I totally get that. I'm just thinking of... I was on a meeting today with a project that started because of this podcast, Folk Unbound, for those listening, and we had a meeting to discuss the event that we're running this summer, and there's been other work that I've created based on the guests I've met here, and I'm thinking for you and me, potentially, who knows, why don't we make like a world Melodeon camp or something like that? But so it's kind of like a global way of meeting, because I have realised that the design of my podcast has been ultra European. Like, I haven't had anyone outside of Europe yet. I've got my first one coming up this year, but it's still on the same landmass. But it would be incredible to be able to... I just don't know the contacts, but if you have contacts, I would love to be able to interview outside of Europe, and maybe find translators to help if it was necessary. But that would be fascinating to me.
I think that this would be a nice idea, of course. Great idea. I also think that before organizing such a thing, it would be interesting to... Oh, sorry. This is the moment. Probably you can edit this.
That's
but
okay.
This is the famous moment. I have to think more. It's like if I go. What I want to say is like if I go to Ireland, the instrument is different. But if someone plays a BC and I play a GC, if we in advance focus on Mixolydian, on specific music that is played only in the C row, then the Italian musician and the Irish musician could actually play and jam together with the same instrument. This said, it would be interesting to investigate in advance, because we can have a Colombian musician or a Madagascar musician coming over and giving a course to many people, but then it would be needed a preparation in advance to understand what are the common points in order to have something successful happening.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And also you can't necessarily, like when you came to Halsey and you borrowed a DG, that was applicable because the system was essentially the same. I know that you might have slightly different layout, but if you were taking a 3-row like Cumbian instrument with that particular tuning, it just wouldn't work, would it? Because they are completely different instruments in that sense, and the tuning of them is very different. But
exactly.
I've often said, and I say it to my students, because I guess I teach from my own journey, like the experience that I've had learning from other cultures, European cultures I should say, in the main, by listening to other tunings but making it DG appropriate. I've got the skill to be able to transpose and make it make sense. It doesn't always sound great, but you can take technique. I've always said that it's important to at least try and learn something from another culture on the instrument you have. But there's a kind of mentality in the UK, maybe elsewhere, I don't know, but if I want to play French music, I've got to buy a GC. And it's like, well, yes and no. Like, you don't have to. You can play in a French style on any instrument, I would argue. It will sound different. And if you want that tonality, then absolutely you have to. But I don't think people should get bogged down with equipment because they're expensive. You can't just go and buy a new one. So I think that there's still value to be had in cultural exchange, even if the instrumentation is slightly different. But yeah, I don't know. We can talk about it off camera. I'm sort of just being a bit silly, really. But I love the idea of expanding out to the rest, and finding people.
That would be totally beautiful.
Yeah.
For me, it will be probably impossible for my entire life to go in depth in this. Let's take again the example of Madagascar. It would be like I could go 40 times there or live there, but to be able to properly understand what's going on and play in this ritual context. So I would apply this same thing to many other traditions. Like, okay, I can try to play forró, I can try to play cumbia from Colombia, or Tex-Mex, or Cajun music. But sometimes it's about adopting a music for a little period of time. I adopt the music, I try to study his characteristic, I take care of it, I try to do it at its best. But at the end, maybe it could be an element of creativity. This is something very interesting for thinking about new composition, and I will be not able to go totally into the Madagascar music 100%, but maybe even if I don't think it about, it will come in one of my composition in the future, and it will be organic into what I do.
And I think that this, it's not on the back actually. I just was holding the back of the book up thinking that the discography was on there, but it's...
on my website.
Yeah, it's on the website. But all of these pieces, they speak of different places.
Yes, yeah.
And I really felt that when you were sharing your music in the concert, but also with us in the lessons at Halsey, that there's something really in the landscape of the places you've visited, the people that you know because of the cultures that you've taken inspiration from. These compositions really speak of that, I think. And I did get a sense of like deep respect and passion for exploring the instrument because of all of the different, and we touched on this in the beginning, but the way that you phrase things and use the dynamics of the instrument, and maybe because of your interest in the way the instruments work, and you can fix and repair things, so you now know how it works. You have a different way of responding as a musician when you're using it. I don't know if that makes sense, but the idea of the way you play and the technique you use is because you understand how that then affects the mechanics of the instrument. Does that translate for you? Is that how you play?
I agree in what you started saying, describing the
place where things come from.
The music in Otto Baffi as something that is connected also to people, to stories, to it's not just a music. That is an album that I did. Initially, my idea was I do an album of solo accordion and that's it. Then, okay, let's put this friend and all friends. These were a circuit of friends of mine that I contacted, and at the end they were 23 friends. It was 23 guests. So, for instance, when I played the bourrée in 3 times, I play that together with bagpipe player Fabio, so that I am together with the phrasing of the bagpipe, the picotage, and I play along with this style, and I try to go the same thing with bunch of other music in this project, so that if I play a saltarello, which is a tune inspired by the music from Center Italy, the tamburello for sure is helping me to have a certain vibe.
And did you say Tapan was inspired by that rhythm?
Tapan is
Balkan, not Balkan.
Yeah.
Is it Balkan?
Yes, the Tapan is the traditional Bulgarian frame drum.
Yeah.
And it is a very rhythmical instrument, and so I remember that was giving the title to this music. It is a music that has a lot of odd rhythms. So
you can say that again. Yeah, I remember just going back to the Halsey course. You'd already blown our gaskets, I think, and then you thought, oh, let's throw to Pan, and it was like last thing on Thursday, so it was like a full week, and then this was the final thing, and we did a pretty good job, I think. I mean, all of us thoroughly loved the volume of material that you were sharing with us, but that was definitely the challenge of the week for me. Like, it was ba-ba-da, 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 and it's amazing to play it. It's so like enlivening. It brings you to life, but it's challenging.
Thank you very much. This tune in this album, this tune is played together with two great friends that come from Canada, which are Emmeline Stam on piano and David Woodhead on the electric bass. And these musicians were connected to a very, very, very influencing musician for me, very good friend of mine who died of leukemia years ago. His name was Oliver Schroer, great composer, great violin player from Canada. So if I have to say, honestly, Tapan for me comes from the inspiration of Bulgarian music, but in a certain sense, another big influence and inspiration for that tune was this great Oliver Schroer. And in fact, I invited two musicians that were in his
network
to play along.
Nice, yeah. It's a wonderful body of work, and I know that you.
Thank you.
You talk about it all the time, and I know that it comes from a place of pride. I know that I'm not as similar, but I have my own album, and it means a lot to me because of where it came from and what it means to me. And I don't talk about it enough, but it is the title music of the podcast. You know, there's a section that I took, and it's important, isn't it? It's the luggage that we carry with us as musicians. It's kind of how we put it out into the world as beautiful objects in music, I think. And yeah, it's fantastic. And we need to wrap this up, but I do want to finish by saying that Filippo is about to teach a Melinar on one of his tunes, Elecrisio. I've pronounced that wrong, Elecrisio. Do correct me, sorry if I'm wrong. A wonderful musette waltz, and we're going to be looking at triplet waltzes, which is something that we've never had on Patreon before, so this is going to be really special. If you want to get involved with that, it will be available on recording as you're listening to this via membership to my Patreon. And yeah, I'm really excited to share you with the membership and see what people make of your wonderful music. So there's so many more conversations and topics I wanted to explore, but I'm really grateful that we had the time to talk about Madagascar, and we only really glanced over it. I feel there's so much more to explore there, but thank you so much for sharing everything with us, and yeah, this has been wonderful.
It has bbeen nice, and thank you to you as well.
What a wild ride that was. I really hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did having that interview. I am so fascinated with everything he shared with us about Madagascar, and as I say, there is so much more on the extended edition. Absolutely everything on the extended edition is on Madagascar, so if you've been intrigued by that, then do consider signing up to my Patreon to access all of those extra resources. The link is in the show notes below. My guest tutor this month on Patreon in March is the fantastic Katie Howson. She exists in the world in the county of Suffolk. She lives down there, but she has been influenced by many an East Anglian player and also from the west of Ireland. And we are looking this month in her Melinar tutorial about looking at one tune that's been influenced by two different traditional genres, and I'm really intrigued by this. She's going to be focusing mostly on one row style because that is one of her sort of pots of knowledge, and so we're adding to our one row stylistics on my Patreon. We've got a few things up there on that now, so if you're interested in that, you can read up more about Katie's Melinar and about who Katie is via my Patreon. There's always a free post that goes out every month to advertise my guest tutors, and if you would like to be part of that Melinar tutorial, you can join us live on Zoom. You can meet her and it will be on March the 18th at 7 p.m. UK time, and it will be recorded and then it will be posted to my Patreon, and you'll be able to access that via membership if you can't make it live. A couple of parish notices from me this month. I have got an L2 Improvers workshop at the Stables in Milton Keynes. That is on the 14th of March coming up. That will be from 10 till 3 p.m, an all-dayer, and we're going to be taking it from where my level 1 course at the Stables finishes into looking at row crossing and playing different types of rhythms and time signatures on the DG 2-row box. You can bring your own instrument, but there are a few available that you can hire for no cost. You just pay the fee for the day, and they've got some spare instruments that you can borrow. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out the link below where you'll be able to sign up and buy your tickets. And I think this is the first time I'm announcing this. I have set up in my hometown of Swadlincote in South Derbyshire, Kilnside Folk Events. This is a little branch of my business that I am starting to do a bit of promotion and events organisation here in my hometown, just to bring in some fresh blood, some different kind of bands. And I'm kicking off the series on the April the 28th with Cosmos Chocolat from the Alsace region of France. The kind of motion took me. I was offered the opportunity to host them, and then it just ran away into a bal folk workshop. So if you want to come and learn how to do some bal folk dancing, and then immediately we're going to go into an evening of French dance. They will be playing for a bal. That will be at the town hall in Swadlincote, and I'm selling tickets via my website, tiered tickets available, so you can choose what to pay essentially, and it will be a really, really fun evening of bal folk dancing. And then also on May the 29th, a little bit further away in the future, we've got John Doran and the Northern Assembly. They are stopping by whilst on tour, and I'm hosting them at the People Express building, which is part of Sharp's Pottery Museum. And I'm really, really excited to have my very first concert, and I'm really looking forward to hosting John and the band here. So yeah, get your tickets again via my website. All of the details are down in the show notes. Thank you to everyone for tuning in this month. I've really enjoyed this episode, and I really hope you have too. Make sure to leave me a comment if you're on a platform that allows it. Leave me a 5-star review if you're also on a platform that allows that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a like, subscribe to my Patreon. There are free options available and all sorts of tiered price tiers that you can sign up to for different pockets. Thank you so much to everyone who supports me on Patreon. None of this would be possible without you, because I am able to pay myself and I'm able to pay my guests to be here, and so yeah, it's a wonderful place to be. What am I saying? Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you again next month with Katie Howson. Take good care, and I'll see you then. Bye.